It's Tuesday, June 26, 2018. This is the second time I have to do the video because I need to be better prepared. I wasn't better prepared, so I'm a little bit better prepared. Not much better, but I at least have my notes in front of me that I need. So, as you see down in the title below, the AAF has finally gotten its 8th team. Now, a while ago, I did a video that said, these are cities I think the AAF and XFL should consider. And San Antonio is one of those cities that I said they should consider, and they considered it. Because obviously they're watching my videos, obviously. So one of those 8 views is obviously Bill Polian going, you know, that fat guy in Denver, he said we should go to San Antonio. Let's go to San Antonio. That guy in Denver says it. This guy right here. So yeah, obviously Bill Polian is taking advice from a minor YouTuber. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for noticing that I have an idea of a city your teams should go to. I'm sure Bill Polian doesn't even know who I am. But the cool part is now we have 8 teams. The San Antonio team will be coached by Mike Riley. Mike Riley has quite the checkered career. He's coached in the CFL. He's coached in major college at Oregon State mostly. He coached in the WLAF, which is long gone, and he even coached in the CFL. In the NFL, he wasn't very good. He coached San Diego. He had one season where he won 1-15. He was 14-34 overall, so not very good. In college, he was 112-99. Not a bad college record, not a great college record. That doesn't tell me that he was one of the great. The reason I'd never heard of Mike Riley is just because he just wasn't. He's mediocre. He's an okay coach. That's not really fair to say. Most coaches that make it to that level are good coaches. They just sometimes don't, acquire the success. They don't maybe inherit a good team, or they just can't get through to this team, or the system isn't working at that time, whatever the case may be. So obviously in San Diego, Mike Riley just wasn't the right fit. He was a pretty good fit at Oregon State. And he was a really good fit for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers because in 88 and 90, he actually won Grey Cups as the head coach. So that's pretty good. I mean, he's at least won a couple of Grey Cups. And I think going to the San Antonio AAF team, I still think that the AAF's open style of play that it looks like they're kind of going for is going to benefit some of these coaches that maybe did have a little bit of Canadian football experience. So now, Mike Riley, I think he's probably the second least known coach out of the coaches that are there. Tim Lewis might be the least known coach for Birmingham because Spurrier, Martz, Neuheisel, Erickson, Singletary, and Childress all are pretty well known. Childress may be a little bit less known as well because Childress only really had his 4 or 5 years in Minnesota. So other than that, that's really his main head coaching experience. But San Antonio gets a team, so congratulations to San Antonio. Congratulations to Orlando, Birmingham, San Diego, Phoenix, Memphis, Atlanta, and a team that Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City has the other team. Congratulations to Salt Lake City. Not a team that usually gets a lot of pro franchises, so this is cool for them. So congratulations to all those teams. Congratulations to the AAF. You filled out the roster. I know that they've kind of been bagging a little bit on the XFL not really having anything in place yet. But you got to remember, the XFL is still over a year away. It's like a year and 7 months away, and the AAF is only about 7 months away. We're getting, this early February is when the AAF is going to start, so they have to get going a little quicker. They have their head coaches, they have their teams. They still haven't named these teams, but they can still call San Antonio the Desperados, which is what I suggested, the San Antonio Desperados. And you can even pay a lot of money to the Eagles so that when the Desperados come out onto the field, you could have the song Desperado playing over the intercom. Why don't you come to your senses, AAF, and call your San Antonio team the Desperados? So, leads us a little bit into I'm going to take the Mike Riley thing, who coached the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are in the CFL, and I'm going to move that over to the CFL just real quick here. I looked up Ricky Ray, and he got the injury. He was down for like 20 minutes. So not a good looking injury. Um, so I kind of went through this, and it says he's doing okay, but he may miss significant time. He says he has feeling in his extremities and whatnot, but more evaluation needs to be done, and nobody's going to make any major comments yet until more tests are done. But um, he seems really what they're hoping for is they want this guy to have a good quality of life after football. So they're not going to rush him back, which is good. I mean, there's no need to rush the guy back. He's 38 years old, and he's the Argos all-time leading passer. He's been consistent. I guess he's played through just a lot of injuries in his career, shoulder injuries, knee injuries. He's played through a lot of stuff in his career, so he's tough as nails. By what I see, he doesn't miss a lot of games. So the fact that Ricky Ray is actually going to miss time seems significant. This also leads a little bit to what I started looking up a little bit of what the Argos, who were the Grey Cup champions last year. I started looking at why they were 0-2. They have 20 of their 24 starters back for this season. Now losing Ricky Ray is probably not a good thing because I think they're putting in Franklin right now. And the good thing about, I guess, that Franklin is going to be starting is that James Franklin he's the I'm sorry. It's like Toronto's not playing next week or this week, and they don't play again until July 7th. So this gives James Franklin a lot of time to prepare, and they're going to be facing Edmonton, which I guess is James Franklin's former team. So it'll give him a chance to maybe exact some sweet revenge, and maybe the Argos go, back up again. Maybe start taking an upswing. The coach is not panicking, which is Tressman. So, and he should be panicking. He loses a lot. But it looks like Ricky Ray is going to be okay. So that is the main important thing. It looks like Ricky Ray, they want to just make sure there's no lingering injuries or anything like that, or lingering effects, and they're going to make sure he's 100%, I guess, before they get him out on the field. And although it doesn't sound like Ricky Ray wants to be 100%, it sounds like he plays at 50 and 60% and just says, I just want to be out there. He's 38. He obviously still loves to play the game. So it's cool to see that that he should be okay. He should be all right. I don't know if he'll be football all right, but the most important thing at this point is to be all right. So, I mean, that's pretty much it. We now have all of our AAF teams. Every city that they want has been filled. All the coaching spots are filled. So now it's going to be a matter of getting players. Now, I've got a question. Will the AAF affect the CFL in any way? I haven't really looked a lot into this. I don't know if AAF players would be allowed to play in the CFL, and how many CFL players who are Americans would want to come back down into the AAF to play on the American, to play back in America where they were born and raised. I don't know. I think they could probably make more money in Canada. I don't think the salary cap is going to be very high in the AAF. So I haven't really looked that up yet, but I don't know. I looked at kind of the timeline. A lot of these things, a lot of what happens with the CFL starts in about May and June. Technically, they could be done in May with the AAF, because you're talking March, April, and May, 3 months, and that's if it goes all 12 weeks or whatever. So potentially, I don't know. I mean, are the AAF players going to be allowed to go back up north if they want and play Canadian football as well? Which means, holy smokes, you're going to be playing a lot of football down in America for the AAF, and then you're going to go back up to Canada and play more football. And it seems like that's a lot of football. It's like there was even one. I saw Brandon Bridges talking about this when the starting quarterback went down that was in front of him for, I think it's Saskatchewan. And they were asking Brandon Bridges, because if he's running around and he takes hits, are you worried that there's only one more quarterback behind you? And I'm going, in the NFL, there's a lot of teams that only have two quarterbacks on the roster. I mean, are injuries to quarterbacks in Canadian football a major issue? Do they happen a lot? I mean, I see that Canadian quarterbacks run a little bit more. So I guess the injuries could happen a lot more often because they seem like they're a lot more mobile. But yeah, so I mean, how often do quarterbacks get hurt up there? Um, so yeah, Ricky Ray's doing okay, um, which is important for Ricky Ray and his family. So it's good to know that, and Argos fans and supporters of Ricky Ray. So um, the AAF has 8 teams. Congratulations to all the teams in the AAF who, all the cities that have teams now. Hopefully, we'll start to see maybe a few players start getting put on some of these rosters. Um, and then, that's going to keep kind of progressing. I mean, you got to figure it's got to keep rolling along. We're close to that February 9th. And we're going to keep an eye up north. Keep an eye on that Canadian Football League because I'm interested and I want to keep an eye on it a little bit. So, tell me what you think. You happy Ricky Ray's okay? I can't imagine you wouldn't be. I can't imagine unless you just really hate the Argos. So, what do you think about the cities that the AAF has chosen? Any cities that you would have put instead of the cities that they chose? Let me know down in the comments below. With all that being said, to the troops, past, present, and future. Thanks for the freedom.